Hey, what's up guys? Thank you for purchasing this asset bundle. This is gonna be a tutorial showing you how to use all of the assets in the bundle. I'm gonna show you how to apply the LUTs. I'm gonna show you how to make some simple adjustments to your footage to ensure that you get the best results with the LUTs. I'm also gonna show you how to apply the transitions and also adjust the frames inside of the bundle. I'm going to be using Final Cut Pro 10, but if you use Premiere, if you use DaVinci or some other editing platform, make sure to pay attention because these exact same steps will pretty much apply across the board. I'm also going to include a PDF that tells you in detail how to apply the LUTs inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. Just keep in mind when you do apply them, make sure to use the LUT inside of the Creative tab, and then the basic adjustments above that in the Lumetri will allow you to make the correct adjustments to the footage. So I'm just gonna start off with the LUTs and showing you how to make adjustments to those. So if you navigate to the folder of the asset kit, the asset bundle, you'll see a folder that says LUT examples. And inside of this, you can see that I've already gone through and told you some of the best lighting scenarios that will work with these LUTs. Now, this isn't saying that these LUTs won't work with other lighting scenarios. It's just telling you the type of footage that it was created on. And this will best suit you and give you a great idea of which one you should probably choose off the rip. So you can see that that's just something to keep in mind. So if you film in different scenarios, make sure to look that over. So in the timeline, I have a couple of clips and I just want to show you a couple examples of applying the LUTs. And when I created these LUTs, they were created on footage that's closer to Rec 709. So if you are filming log, you're gonna want to apply your conversion LUT before you apply the LUT. Conversion LUTs can be found on your camera manufacturer's websites. It also has a lot of built-in LUTs already for certain color profiles inside of Final Cut Pro 10. So up here in the information tab, if you go to camera LUT, it'll already show you a few different LUTs that are built in. And for a lot of cameras in the cinema line, it'll automatically apply that LUT to your footage when you import it. So this is what it would look like without it, which is completely flat. And this is what it looks like with the conversion LUT applied. If you don't have a conversion LUT though, it's certain simple adjustments that you can make to footage to get it closer to that, which I'll show you right now. So for the sake of this, I'm just gonna remove the conversion LUT and I'm just gonna go in and apply color wheels. Go to my workspaces. I just wanna pull up my scopes to make sure I'm not gonna be crushing or losing any information. So the goal with the scopes over here is that you get your shadow point close to 0 and you get your highlight point close to where you like it to look inside of the footage. So I'm gonna bring my shadows down and just keep an eye on the waveform. I'm just gonna bring it down. So if I go that far, you can see it goes below 0 and that's showing me that this information down here is crushed. I'm just gonna play it by eye. It doesn't have to be perfect because the LUT's gonna do a lot of the pickup work for you. So I like where that is. I'm gonna bring my highlights up to a point where I like them to be. I think that looks good right there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and increase the saturation just to bring some of that color back. And that looks good right there. So once you get it to a point of something that looks similar to that, you should be good for the LUT. I'm gonna go into my effects panel and I'm just gonna search up LUT, drop a custom LUT on top of this. And once we go into our effects panel, the custom LUT, we can search for one. You go down here to choose custom LUT. And you're gonna navigate to the LUT cube files folder inside of the asset bundle. Then from here, you'll see all the cube files for the different LUTs that we have. I've already imported mine, so I'm just gonna go through and find one to click on. So I'm gonna click on the comfortable LUT. And once I apply, you can see that it already looks pretty much good here. And then if we need to make any adjustments to that, we can go up to the color wheels above it and make those adjustments. So if I want to bring the midtones up or like increase my highlights, I can do all of that. One thing to keep in mind is that when applying adjustments to the LUT, you want to make sure you are applying them to an effect that is before the custom LUT. If I drag this under it, if I drag this after, you can see that drastically adjusts not only the color, but we are also losing information as well. So if you're going to be applying any sort of adjustments to the LUT, you want to do it before the custom LUT layer effect is applied. So an example of this would be, say you went to go apply color wheels after you applied the LUT. You want to make sure it's before the custom LUT. So if I click on it now, any adjustment that I make will be done before the LUT is applied. So the order of the effects and layers definitely does make a difference. From here, you can make any adjustments that you see fit. If you want to boost up the saturation for this, drop the shadows, increase the midtones, increase the highlights, you can do all sort of stuff like that. I want to show you a couple different LUTs that aren't necessarily meant for scenarios like that I labeled, and show you how you can adjust those to make the LUT fit. So I'm gonna go back down and I'm gonna remove this layer, this effect layer. I'm gonna apply my conversion LUT just to get that back. Then we can drop a custom LUT on, and I'm gonna choose a LUT that isn't necessarily meant for footage like this. So let's do the court side. Let's do the court, see what that looks like. You can see this actually does not look bad. In the label for the court side, it was meant for artificial lighting. But if we need to adjust it, we can go through and apply color wheels. And I'm gonna move the color wheels up before the custom LUT and make any adjustments that I need. So I don't really like how this highlight right here is like blowing out a little bit. So I'm gonna bring my highlights down just to get that back in line. And then from here, I can boost my midtones up, and I'm gonna drop my shadows down. And I think that looks good right there. So this is a before and this is an after. And if I wanna go through and adjust my temperature to get this more to a warmer tone, I can do that. If I wanna go back to warm, if I wanna make it more cool and like really, really dial in that intense blue look for it, that also looks cool as well. So even though this LUT was labeled for artificial lighting, it doesn't mean that it's only gonna work on artificial lighting. Like this is a natural light clip. Another thing I wanna show you is how you can adjust it in different scenarios as well. So this is another clip. I'm going to apply my custom LUT to this, and I'm going to go to my interlude. And you can see that this is very dark. So I'm just gonna go through and make some basic adjustments for this. Let's add in the color wheels. I'm gonna drag this up above the custom LUT. And for me, this is just way too dark. So I'm gonna boost up my shadows like way up, and I'm gonna drop my midtones down to something along the lines of that. And this just kind of looks washed out at this point. So I'm gonna boost up my saturation just to get that to a nice point. And that's the before, that's the after. And that looks like way better. Looks a lot more soft, and it has a glamour look that is really matching this vibe right here. Drop my shadows down and bring my midtones up just a little bit to get that contrast back into it. And it's just gonna be pull and push until you get it to a look that you want it to be. But that's pretty much the gist of the LUTs. Like you can make your adjustments, but make sure you make your adjustments in order of adjustment first, then LUT. And you also wanna apply your conversion LUT before you adjust the LUTs as well. Next thing I wanna really dive into is the transitions. So the transitions are video clips, they're overlays. So if I navigate to our transition overlays, you can see that these are just video files. And what I like to do is I like to scrub through the video files and find like the brightest point of them and then just drop in a marker. And what this marker allows me to do is it allows me to just drag that marker to the cut point of a clip. So if I scrub through, I would say like this is a really bright point. I'll drop a marker right here. You can see I added a marker. You want the brightest point of the transition to be applied at the cut of two clips because it helps hide that transition. So from here, you can just drag it into the timeline and drag it above the two clips where they cut. And I'm gonna turn a snap on, so this snaps right there. You see that marker that I added snaps right in between these two clips. And from here, we wanna adjust our blend mode. So on our effects panel for our clip, it's a couple different blend modes that we can adjust this clip for our transition. And it's gonna give us a totally different look. So feel free to play with these and click on one that really fits the aesthetic of yours. So I'm gonna switch to color burn just to see what that looks like. Let's play that through. Man, that's not really that good. My favorites are screen, color dodge, also like difference and exclusion a lot, and add also works. So let's just try screen and see what that looks like. Screen looks really cool. That's like a safe one. It's pretty good. You can do color dodge. This is gonna kind of like blow out the highlights a little bit more. And it also tends to look really good in certain scenarios as well. So that's color dodge. We can also do add. Add is very similar to screen, where it's just like a safe option. My favorites are difference and exclusion though. So if we play through difference, I actually didn't even change. So if we play through difference really like gives it like a negative look to it. I really like that one. I find that one works really well between clips most of the time. Really like difference, and then exclusion is like negative, but it's more of like a desaturated version of that most of the time. So feel free to play around with the blend modes. You can also adjust the colors of these if you want to. So if you add a color wheels to this, you can take out all the saturation if you want. Then you have like a real negative feel. So it's really a lot of different variations that you can do and adjust as to how you want it. So if you want to shift the temperature of this all the way to blue or all the way to warm, you can see that would drastically adjust the look of the transition. So you can kind of create something totally different every single time, which is awesome. And this is basically the exact same process for all the transitions. They're all video clips, so you can really play around with the blend mode and click on the one that makes the most amount of sense for you. I like exclusion a lot, so that's pretty much where I tend to stay at. But you just drag these in between the cut of two clips and it helps hide it really well. It's a simple breakdown of the transitions. You can, like I said, apply different color wheels. You can apply hue saturation curves if you want to take out certain colors. Like say you wanted to take out all of the warm hues for it. Just add a couple points here and just pull these in different directions, or adjust the hue of it. You can make a totally different transition than the one that I gave to you. And it's cool to just go in and play around with stuff and see what you get. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the transitions. They work super well. You can just play around with the blend modes and find the one that works the best for you. Next thing I want to show you how to adjust is the frames. Now these are required to have Adobe Photoshop to edit. So what you can do is just navigate over to your frame templates, click on that, and then from here you can kind of choose the one that will work the best for whatever video you're working on or whichever one you like. I like this one right here with the 3 frames, so I'm just going to show you how to adjust this one. If I double click on it, it'll open up Photoshop. Now, one thing you want to do before you attempt to adjust these is you just want to go to your video and pull some of your favorite frames from it. I go through my music video and I just pull out a bunch of frames that I think look cool, and from there I just already have my frames in order. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import a couple of frames that I like from the music video. I'm going to import that one, and maybe that one. And then from here, once I click all of these, I can just drag these to the Adobe Photoshop logo down at the bottom. And then once I click on that, once I let it go, it'll open inside of Photoshop. And then you can see up here at the top, we have our different frames. So first thing we want to do is we want to go into our frames template. And then down here at the bottom right, you can see we have our layers. So I'm gonna hit this little arrow right here on the top frame. And I'm just going to delete out the photo that is above the image one. You see it says place image above. That's where you want to place the image for your top frame. So this is going to be my top frame right here. I'm going to click on the move tool over here on the left. I'm going to grab this, hold it, just continue to hold it and hover over top of this. And then once we get over top of this, we can let it go. You can see it'll drop the frame in. Now from here, we want to make sure our image layer is above the image one. Right click and then go to create clipping mask, and that's going to get our frame inside of it. And then from here, with the move tool selected, we can do show transform controls, and then we could just size this down to get it to a space that we want it to fit inside of this section right here. I'm going to say something like that looks pretty good and that looks cool, And we're just gonna repeat the process for the bottom frame. So I'm gonna hit this little drop down arrow right here for the bottom frames, and I'm gonna delete out the photo that's already there, delete out both of those. And then you can see once we click on it, once we have our show transform tool selected, it'll show us which one we're affecting. So I'm gonna place the image over top of image 2, one of my frames. I'm gonna select this one with the move tool select. I'm gonna click it, hold it, and drop it right there. And it'll go above the image 2. And then I can right click and do create clipping mask. And then from there, I can adjust the scale and size of that. So I'm just gonna scale that down until it gets to a point where I like it. I think that looks pretty good right there. And I'm just gonna repeat the process for our final frame, which is this one. Click, drag, release, and I'm going to have to drag this above the image 3. Right here, it says place image above. And then if I right click and do create clipping mask, it'll stay within this box. And then I'm gonna adjust the size of it to get it in there. Like that, like so. Make sure it looks good. And I think that looks good. Another thing I like to do to my frames when I'm adjusting them inside of Photoshop is just give them like a slight sharpen. I find that it really brings out the crisp detail on Instagram. So you can click on your images, your frames, and you can go up to the filter tab up above and then go to sharpen and then unsharp mask. And I tend to do maybe like a 50 just to kind of bring out that sharpness. That's before, that's after. It's not much, but I find that it adds just a tad bit of crispiness to the image. Then from there, sharpen, unsharpen. Same thing on the rest of the frames. Filter, sharpen, unsharp mask. And we're pretty much good to go. From here, we can go to file. We can do save a copy, and we can just find wherever we want to save this to. So we'll do F3, whatever you want to name it. Save it as a JPEG, hit save, and then we want to make sure our quality is all the way on large frame, which is maximum. Hit OK, we're good to go. And this is the exact same process for pretty much any of the frame templates. So if I navigate back to the folder, for the frame templates, it's the exact same process. Doesn't matter which one you're in. So if you're in this one, you can double click on it and it's the same. You can see we have a drop down folder for our top frames. Then we can have, we have our middle frames and then our bottom frames, and it's just the same process as you dragging and dropping in your frames and adjusting them just like that. So the quick tutorial showing you how to utilize the entire asset bundle kit. If you guys have any additional questions, make sure to reach out to me via email. I'll get back to you on that ASAP. Thank you once again, and enjoy.